guys, here we are in my little workshop.
It's a hobbit hole.
Hole.
Don't let me lie.
My little hobbit hole here. It's been kind of a rainy week.
Yeah.
It's just kind of sucked. Haven't had a chance to do a whole lot. If you've been keeping up with the timeline of the channel, Grandpa has kind of put us on a standstill. If you don't know what it is, it's a 66 to 68 Jeep J2000. We were supposed to be getting parts for it this week, and the guy backed out on us.
Well, of sorts.
Of sorts. Nonetheless, to continue on with this video, we're doing a little more of an indoor activity and something we haven't done in a while. We're going to do another review video. Today, we have...
Well, there's another reason why we're doing it.
Okay.
Because when this releases, it will be a day late.
It's a day late.
But it's intentional. It's going to be the greatest freedom holiday other than the 4th of July. It's going to be Veterans Day.
Yep.
So, with it raining, instead of being in the garage trying to force something, we're going to, look at
pews.
Things that keep, let freedom ring. And maybe even go out there and dodge some raindrops for a couple minutes and send some freedom seeds down to knock on some steel.
Yes. So, yes, it's Veterans Day is the day that this will be released. So, thank you, veterans.
Yay!
And it is also
there you go.
Our 1 year. We have actually made videos every Friday for 1 year.
Yeah.
Within the last 3 months, we started doing some shorts. Those have really taken off, let me tell you.
Yeah.
We really appreciate you guys for that. That's what's really helping us. Keep an eye out. I'll probably have a short on this one for this week's video. But back to the matter at hand, we are doing not one, but two guns. We've got the Smith & Wesson M&P 5.7, and we also have the Kriss Vector in 9mm. We'll be going over both of those. I've got the Smith & Wesson set up, so we can probably start there.
I mean, that sounds like a good idea to me.
Okay, so the Smith & Wesson 5.7. So the 5.7 by 2.8 round, from what I read, it originally started with NATO. They were looking for a round that they could use in both their rifles and their pistols. Kind of basically be able to carry just one round.
I mean, as a veteran, I can tell you, that makes things easy.
and it did. It did really well. They made the FN Herstal made the P90 and the FN 5.7, which is the pistol version. It does both. It does its job. And this was over 20 years ago that they made these. Now, everyone else is actually starting to get into the 5.7 field. So, not only does FN make one, CNNG makes a AR-15 upper. PSA makes the Rock. M&P or Smith & Wesson makes the M&P 5.7, and Ruger makes a 5.7 as well. What we have is the Smith & Wesson 5.7. Now, there's a whole lot of cool things on it, a whole lot of technical stuff. Let me tell you, Smith & Wesson really put this together very well. So, to start with, it is a full-size pistol. It has a 5-inch barrel, and one of the coolest things about this barrel is this actually went back and had to review it. So, it is one of the only, if not the only, gas-operated pistol barrel. Which means it doesn't blow back just from the bullet exploding. It actually uses, there's a little gas chamber up here at the front, so the projectile has to make it past the gas chamber before it starts pushing the slide back, allowing it to eject.
So just like an AR.
Just like an AR. They all come standard with a threaded barrel, and they all come standard with...
optics ready.
Yes, optics ready. So, I've shot it a handful of times. I mean, it is a smooth shooting pistol with almost no recoil.
Yeah, I agree. With what little bit I've shot it, which is like 2 or 3 rounds. I'd say it probably has half the recoil of a 9mm.
Yeah, I could go with that.
I'll go one step further. Half of the recoil of a compact 9mm. Because that's what we carry right now.
Yeah.
And I'd say it kicks half as much as my Hellcat.
Yeah. So with the 5.7, for those of you that don't know the 5.7, it almost looks like a small 223. And I'll get a picture up of the size comparison of a couple of them that I've got. But, I mean, it quite literally looks like you threw some 223 in a dryer and shrunk them down.
I was going to say, it looks like you put it in a dryer and it shrank down on you.
So that's kind of the joke of it. And that's when the day I bought it, I actually took some over to Patrick. I had some in my pocket, and I'm like, man, I left these in my pocket and they shrunk in the dryer. And he laughed and he's like, what the hell is that? So
yeah.
But anywho, outside of that, again, it's a real world cartridge, so it uses a really wide magazine. The magazine does hold 22 plus the one in the chamber, which makes the grip really wide. So the funny thing is Patrick still has a bigger hand than me, but I still find this comfortable where he does not. He actually doesn't like this as much from what we've talked about.
Yeah, for me, it just feels too long in the hand. But this is the first rifle cartridge style, thank you, rifle cartridge-ish round through a pistol I've ever fired. So, I taught myself to shoot on a 1911. And then after that, everything's pretty well square. But yeah, for me, it catches my middle finger just before the second knuckle, and it's slightly uncomfortable. It's still fun to shoot here and there, like out at the range, but it's not a carry gun for me. But because Matt's hands are just slightly smaller, it catches his fingers correctly.
Yeah, just a little bit more further forward.
Yeah.
It's not like grabbing, say, even a Glock. Your hand gets all the way around it. But I still have enough to get a hold of it, and then my other hand goes over the top of it anyway. So I still find it comfortable. Yeah. But
I feel like I'm trying to give someone a Charlie horse or something when I'm holding it. Because it is. It's literally just the one knuckle.
Got your half. Oh, okay, I can see that.
It falls just short of it, and I'm like trying to figure it out.
That's
but
funny.
It's still a good gun.
So
it's a great gun.
For some of the numbers that you guys want, I had to look a lot of these up. The MSRP for them is $6.99. I'm almost positive that's what I paid for it, and I bought it right around 6 months ago when they were first coming out. I think they're still right around the same price, so you're looking at $700.
Unless you know a guy.
Unless you know a guy. It weighs 26.7 ounces. That's unloaded, so it's still on the heavier side for a gun. But you're also talking about a full-size pistol, kind of like your 1911s, which are close to the same weight. And this also, unlike your 1911, carries 22 rounds versus 7.
I mean, yeah, it has. They do make these in the traditional colors, your black, your tan. And then for those of us who are indecisive, they have a two-tone, I think.
Yes, they do have a two-tone.
So you can get them in a variety of colors.
Tan on the bottom with black slides.
Whatever. That's for all of us that are indecisive.
I would have liked that one, be honest.
Yeah.
But they didn't even have the tans when I bought them. So, anywho, that was all that. So, we have talked about in a previous video, and this is something that I'm going to add, it's not any of the technical data, all that stuff. We talked about doing hand loads for the P90, because we do hand loads.
Yep.
There is a lacquer that is on all the 5.7s that are made, and it's to help with extraction is about the best explanation I can get from anyone. If anybody knows a better example, please let me know, because this is all I can find. That being said, when you run it through the tumbler, it pulls off a majority of that lacquer, so when you go to reload it, you have straight brass. So we did a test. We did 10 rounds of processed versus 10 rounds that were gently processed versus 10 rounds of factory ammo. through the P90, all 30 shots fired exactly the same. There was no difference whether they were hard tumbled, whether they were lightly clean, just enough to where you could process them, and factory ammo. That said, I have tried, I did a smaller version. I actually did 5 of each through this gun, and factory ammo is beautiful. Bam, 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 bam. It works great. Now the reloads, they didn't like to cycle. Could that be the powder load I used? Maybe, because the loads that I made are for a P90. Could it be that the lacquer wasn't there? It could be. I don't know. But I'm just telling you, if you reload, it is probably not the greatest to run through this particular pistol.
At least not until some data comes out.
Yeah, better data might be good.
Now, I know you got over a lot of the technical jargon, whatever, but you forgot.
I forgot.
That Ford helped design this.
Who?
Barrel. Ford. Yeah. They call the barrel design a tempo.
It's a tempo.
I mean, come on. We do mostly car stuff, and you're going to forget about Ford helping out?
Had to throw the tempo in there.
Yeah.
Yes. In all technicality, it's the tempo barrel is what Smith & Wesson is calling it, but it's the gas operated barrel.
Yeah. Well, I can tell you this. It does better than any Ford Tempo I've ever seen.
All right, guys. Let's go shoot this one, and then we'll come back and we'll talk about the Kriss Vector.
Okay. Change of plan. We're going to talk about this one so we can dodge raindrops all at one time. Now, fair warning or full disclosure, whatever. This is Matt's gun. However, this is like one of the other ones that he has in his collection that I was like, ooh, I really like that one. And then here he shows up with it. So I told him I was taking this review over. All right. So we got this version is the Kriss Vector SP. You know, I'm sure we can figure that out. Small pistol. I don't know what the S is. That being said, it's got a 5.5 inch barrel, threaded, all standard. This one came with one of them devices that they're arguing about at this current time in the Supreme Court on, you know, what the ATF can do and what they can't do. But right now, if you buy one, we're going to use whole numbers. We're not one of them crazy places because they retail at $1,600. But they don't come with that, you know, device. The bigger ones are a different price. Now, the one thing I do like about this thing has a built-in primer. You know, like kind of like your lawnmower or your weed eater. You got to give it a couple primes. No, not really. I love the side charging handle versus like on your AR, how it's in the back. Something with this is a delayed blowback, which for those of you who are lucky enough to own suppressors, yeah, we're going to leave that alone. These do not shoot near the gas back in your face. The way this recoils is instead of coming straight back, it actually comes back and then drops down like it's going to, you know, come down and touch your toes. It is a very unique feeling when you shoot it. Mm-hmm. The recoil isn't a lot. It's just really different.
Yeah, even if you're, for those of you that have shot even an AR-9, so you got a 6-inch barrel AR-9, you hit it, the buffer absorbs a bunch of it, but you still feel a little bit, it's all straight back. You've got a little bit of muzzle rise. With this, there is zero muzzle rise because everything pushes down. Yeah. So at the same time that the bullet is coming out, it is dropping down and causing that downward motion. So yeah, it's neat.
It's definitely a very unique feeling, as is the grip. For me, you know, the grip is a lot, but it's almost like grabbing a Glock or a 1911 even, just for the way your hand purchases up into I hate to call it a beaver tail, but that's more or less what it is up there. It does take Glock mags, and most of the clones work with it. So your capacity can go anywhere from 17-1 to 33-1. Or, you know, for those of us that don't mind wasting an hour loading a magazine, you know, you can get like the 90-round drums or whatever, and they'll all work. Or in the experience we've had so far, they've all worked. And then Matt's running
it's the Hollow Sun ADS.
ADS? Okay. Yeah. It's a Hollow Sun.
Yeah.
With a solar panel, you know, because batteries are for suckers.
I do want to interject one thing on this. So, most of y'all familiar with ARs, your lower is the part with the trigger mechanism and all that other stuff, and the lower is the part that has to be registered and whatnot. With these, it splits right across the top here and down. Here's your trigger mechanism. It is in the upper part of the firearm. So your upper actually has all the trigger mechanism, and the lower has all the firing mechanism and bolt and everything else.
Yeah.
So that is one neat thing about this.
Yes. What else? It does come in assorted colors. You know, black or tan.
And white.
Oh, yeah, and white. I forgot about the white.
And white.
So, you know, if you really want to be a stormtrooper, there you go. You can get you a factory white one. What else is there?
The only other thing was, speaking of the Glock mags.
Oh, yeah.
I've been saving these. So I bought several of these. They're the ETS mags. ETS is the brand. Got them from Gun Mag Warehouse. They were like super cheap at the time, so I went ahead and bought them. I was kind of surprised when I got them because they said they're all polymer, but they're like
injection molded plastic.
Like really, yeah. I thought I was going to break it when I dropped it. I haven't yet. But we're going to kind of review these. I left one in the package just so I could show you guys. Woohoo!
You know what these remind me of?
What's that?
The Ruger 1022 mags.
Okay, yeah. Yeah.
That same kind of material.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. It is.
Not the BXs, the old school.
Yep.
Banana mags, as they used to be called. Banana clips.
Yes.
I think is what I grew up with.
Actually, have a couple of those. But for the money, I thought I would give them a try because I want to say I bought these for $8 a piece, if even that.
$8 mags? Yeah. If they work.
I want to say they were like $8 because they were on sale. And the funny thing is I actually think I bought them a year ago, and I think I've cycled 10 rounds through one of them. So we're going to go through and we're going to give them a shot today. So that was the other part of this, was to try these out. So other than that, it doesn't sound like it's raining much. So let's go shoot.
You know what they say? If it ain't raining, we ain't training.
True that.
All right, let's go shoot something.
All right, let's go shoot something. All right, guys. We're out here at the range. We're dodging some raindrops, but it's cleared up a smidge, enough for us to shoot. But, I mean, knowing us, we'd go shoot out in a downpour too. So there is that. Little Human did decide to join us this time. He's going to fire a couple shots of each one of them.
So that way, definitely get a view of how little a recoil they got.
Yeah, you can actually see recoil and whatnot. He will be assisted, don't worry. So we're going to start getting these set up, and we're going to get some shots going. All right, here we are. We've got the Kriss Vector, and Patrick's going to do the first 10 shots.
All right, let me prime it.
And I'm going to do the... Now can I do the second 10 shots?
Start with the 12. Going hot. Oh. Clear. All right, Matt's turn.
All right.
Yeah, you got to prime it.
All right, here we go. Ooh. Ooh. Oh, come on.
Slow down. All right. Little man's turn.
Fire when ready.
Woo!
Go back to the big one. Shoot the big one. Woo-hoo, you're out.
All right. All right.
All right, guys. We have the Smith & Wesson 5.7 with factory rounds.
All right. Definitely not as good left-handed.
Oh, watch out. Yeah. You got a little bit limp-wristed there.
Well,
let's try it again. Good job.
Is that all of them?
That's all of them.
so as you can see with little man shooting, neither of them have a lot of recoil. And they're fun to shoot.
Yeah, they are fun to shoot.
All right, guys. So we're back inside, out of the rain from shooting. And as far as this goes, all I can say is it's fun to shoot. No. It's just a great shooting gun. It takes a little bit to get used to that downward kick feel, but it's a blast. I like the sight. I mean, it's just it could be an EOTech. It's the same reticle, so, you know, whatever. But a red dot on this, it shoots like a dream. There's not a lot to say about it, other than
having both an AR9 and this, I would vastly prefer this. Those little AR9s are fun, but let me tell you, just holding that and shooting that and the smoothness it has.
Yeah, if we're comparing to an AR9, you know, you have your muzzle flip and whatnot. If I was going to be shooting short distance competition with it, oh, the Vector all day. I mean, and come on, it has a cool name. It looks like it's out of a video game. I mean, an AR does also. I'll get my words straight here in a second, but you know, Halo, whatever you want to think about, you know.
Yeah.
So it's a great gun. I love shooting it. I shoot it anytime Matt will let me play with it. It's one of the few guns he has that I'm not like that I don't turn down the opportunity to shoot. We use the ETS magazines, and the 30 rounds we put through between the two of them, they function great. No failure to feeds, nothing like that. So
we just didn't drop them on the ground, which we were only on grass anyway. So
yeah.
We don't know about the fall test.
Yeah.
However, on the packaging, it says 8-foot extreme impact resistance. Whether that's true or not, I don't know. Maybe one day I'll test that out. But right now, I've got some 30-round mags.
Yeah. Yeah, I wouldn't be scared to take these out to the range or anything. Maybe not necessarily a training class. You know, I'd want some Glock mags just for added security, maybe. Especially with as little experiences we have with them. But yeah, I think they're fine for a good day out at the range, just plinking around, whatever. Mm-hmm. Or even just doing some light drills.
Yeah.
But if you have a chance to get your hands on one of these, even if it's just to shoot it, not to purchase it, shoot it, you won't be disappointed.
You will not. You will not. So the other one we did was the Smith & Wesson 5.7. I feel it's a really smooth pistol. I really like it. I like the grip. There's some debate on that one.
Yeah. I
did get it. So this is it is one of those weird ones. The mag release is, you can do either side. I'm trying to find my words, but you can do either side. Normally you would think a right-handed person would have it on the thumb side, and that's fine and dandy, but because of the size of the mag well, I've actually got it on the outside, and my finger crosses right over it and hits it just perfectly. So I can, in the middle of it, right after, I can drop it and still be able to draw the next one without even having to touch it.
Well, so I want to add something to that. So, and yes, it is clear. When Matt first got this, he brought it over to the house and we was tinkering with it and messing with it. And the reason it ended up on this side, if you remember, was when you bring the pistol up into your workspace, instead of having to turn it or whatever, you can keep your trigger disciplined. And as you can see, an empty magazine. I flexed my finger a little too early, but just by flexing, I'll let you have this back. Just by flexing the meaty portion of my finger, and his as well, you've seen how easy that magazine comes out.
Drops right out.
I mean, I was intending for it to come out, but I was not intending to press it just yet. But for me, that was one of the things when he was talking about, because he was talking about having, like you said, flip it over and then stretch that thumb to get to it.
Yeah.
And when it's in your work, you've got it up here in your workspace so you can keep track what's going on out there. If you start turning it, I mean, yes, it may be empty, maybe it's not, you're doing a tactical reload, you're starting to pull that barrel back into your direction. And that's the last time you need a AD. So transition into where you can just flex that finger, I think that is a great thing. And honestly, on any pistols that I have, since we've done that, I've looked at all my pistols at changing it over. Even though I can still reach, I think that flex is...
Yeah, I like that.
But it's definitely a different set of...
muscles?
Yeah.
Mindset?
No. Combative arms, or however it's said. But basically, instead of... With a normal pistol, you kind of turn it a little bit and you hit the button and the mag comes out and then it comes back in. This, it's just a flex. It comes out, you bobble it evidently if you're trying to catch it, and then, the new one goes in.
Yeah.
Sorry. But yeah, that was something I wanted to point out with these, that you can do it like that, and then you've always got that trigger discipline. You're never having to move it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that is one thing I like. So the one thing we didn't get recorded because my bright self left the hand loads in the house. So we just packed up a little bit. I did take 5 hand loads and I did put all 5 in here. They actually cycled really well. So since I've cleaned it from factory grease, it runs the hand loads actually just fine. I did have wasn't a misfire. I guess it was a light strike on the primer on my 5th one. But after further inspection, it was actually the cartridge was too deep, or the primer was too deep. So that was my fault, not the gun's fault. So that being said, hand loads do work.
Yeah. And then the one thing I want to touch back on, we made a joke about it earlier.
Fun to shoot.
No, well, not that. Not with that one. With the Kriss.
Oh.
As you can see how it's sitting, I mean, come on.
Oh.
This gun, stable platform, as long as you're using like a 17 rounder. And then look, if you got to get way out there, it just rocks right back. I mean, look at that. You're like already ready to shoot like a mile. I don't know how accurate you're going to be, but I'm just saying. And look, I mean, It's got its own stand. You don't have to worry about laying it down on the outside. All right, guys. Thanks for joining us today, or this week, actually, I guess for you guys. While we, played with Freedom toys and sent Freedom seeds down to ring
fun to shoot
steel, and they were fun to shoot.
Mm-hmm. He even got in on the action.
Yeah, little man got to get in. That's always great. Get our youth out there and get them shooting. We, today for y'all is our 1 year anniversary, I guess, of being on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
And I forgot to check before we started recording, so we have officially, as soon as I can get my phone to work here, we are at 201 subs. And I know for most channels and stuff, that's not a lot. But for us, we're very, very appreciative of all of you who have liked and subscribed and shared in the past. And hopefully you'll continue to do so. I won't lie. I this year, when we started, I was like, we'll put it out there for the family and stuff, and it'll be what it'll be. Every time a video goes up, I'm on it. Every day. For at least the first week, 3 or 4 days of it. How many people have watched it? Are we getting comments? Are people happy with it? It is what it is. You can ask Matt the other day when we broke 200. I texted him immediately.
Yeah.
Hey,
10 o'clock
man.
at night.
Hey, man, we just broke 200. Yeah.
Yes, it was very exciting. It was very exciting. And we thank you guys.
Yeah. We got just as excited about getting 200 as I see guys get for getting their million. I'm like, the fact that you guys want to take time out of your day or night, whenever you watch us, to listen to a couple of hooligans talk and watch us work on Jeeps and
anything and everything.
Occasionally play with pews, and even rarer occasion, we actually get to make it to a trail. But hopefully that's going to change soon.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess, since it's going to be a 4-day weekend, we should have a safety brief, right?
Right.
Okay. So let's see. It's been a year. Yeah, I guess it's been actually a year. I think it's been probably close to 6 months since we've done one.
Yeah, I think it was.
So we got to remember how this goes. Do you remember how it goes?
No.
No? Don't do drugs.
Don't do drugs.
Stay out of jail.
Stay out of jail. That's a good one.
Add to population.
Yep. Don't add to the population. Don't subtract from the population.
Be safe.
Well, not only that, but don't let them call First Sergeant. No, don't drink and drive, guys. Be safe. Enjoy the weekend, or continue to enjoy your weekend. Don't forget what today is truly about. All right. Veterans Day means something different to everybody. Just remember, if you see a vet, thank them, I guess. I'm not big on that, but there's some that are. Just give appreciation for the guys and gals who've come before you and done what they've done, and some of them that, especially the ones who haven't made a home. With that said, I don't have anything else. You?
Good.
You got anything you want to add? No?
All right.
All right. We'll see y'all next week.
Have a good
Bye,
weekend.
guys.